Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Oscar's Aviation video. And this week, an A321 loses its front wheel, 3 Boeing 737s fly in formation, and the JetBlue A321 completes a flight with only one engine. So first of all, we start with a United A321 that lost its main landing gear upon landing in Dallas Airport. This incident occurred due to a hard landing into Dallas Airport. The aircraft was coming in quite nicely, but then the pilot forgot to flare, causing the front wheel to slam into the ground, causing the right tyre to slide off the aircraft and presumably go off the runway. This meant that the airport had to close all of its runways and taxiways for about 30 minutes before the aircraft could get cleared. This caused a lot of delays at the airport, but everyone got out of the aircraft safely. The aircraft has now been put into maintenance and will be seen back in service shortly. So now we move on to a JetBlue A321 that circled for 30 minutes after departing from Cuba Airport. The cabins mentioned that they heard a loud bang on the right side of the aircraft just after departure. The aircraft circled at 6,000 feet, and JetBlue has not released a statement of what the loud bang was. Some people are saying that this loud bang could have been a cabin pressure failure, also others are saying it was an engine failure. After circling for 30 minutes, the aircraft continues its way to Miami Airport, but only at a cruising altitude of 12,000 feet. This is unusual for these type of aircraft, as normally they will climb up to about 30,000 to 40,000 feet. And the aircraft landed in Miami with about a 45-minute delay. Now the aircraft is in maintenance, and we don't know whether we will see it in service or not. Now we move on to a helicopter crash that happened in America. The helicopter was flying very low, as you can see on the video. Then after the helicopter lost control, it started spinning uncontrollably and then fell through the trees and onto the ground. In some luck, all the passengers were still alive and only one was hospitalized. There was still no actual evidence of what happened to the helicopter, but some says it could have been flying too low and that it could have incurred a bird strike. Others saying that there was strong wind, but there is no actual definition of what happened in this case. Either way, everyone was safe, but the helicopter is to be scrapped. Sticking in the USA, we're going to talk about Air Force One and how it had to divert about 2 hours into their flights due to a stated electrical issue. The aircraft was 2 hours into its flight to Zurich when the cabin noticed that they had an electrical issue, which caused the aircraft to divert back to the USA. This meant that the president had to travel on a Boeing 757, which then got the call sign Air Force One. The Boeing 757 did make it to Zurich, a bit delayed due to the U-turn the 747 had to make, but the president did manage to land in Zurich. This was quite interesting, as the 757 is never used as Air Force One, as it's normally a Boeing 747. And to even add to this case, they had the Boeing 747 Air Force One suited on standby at the base, but they decided to pick for Boeing 757. Now we talk about 3 Boeing 737s MAX 8s that flew from the USA to Warsaw International Airport in a formation. Lot Airlines ordered 3 Boeing 737s MAX 8s, and they were ready to be delivered at the same time. This caused them to fly in formation over Iceland and Greenland, which caused some incredible views of the both 3 aircraft that were flying. The airline even released footage of how it looked from the air. As you can see, the aircraft looked fairly close, but according to sources, there was 1,000 feet of separation in between them at all times. This is the normal standard, but it still looks quite cool to look at. Now we move to Russia, where a Boeing 747 left the runway after an engine failure. The aircraft was taken off as usual, but during the takeoff and towing, the left engine, number 1, failed, causing excessive thrust on the right wing. This means there is less thrust on the left wing than the right. This caused the aircraft to swerve to the left, meaning the left tyres went off into the snow. The aircraft then got pulled out and had an inspection done before continuing its flight. No passengers were hurt in the process, and the aircraft is now back in service for full. Now we move to Detroit, where a car ran through the doors of the entrance. The car was driving at about 30 miles an hour before hitting the entrance doors and going straight into a ticket booth. Apparently 6 people were injured and taken to the hospital, and the driver got out and put his hands up and started screaming something. He got detained, and people say it's just a mental issue after the doctors have inspected him. Overall, no overall damage was done, just to the door and the ticket booth, but the airport still remains open. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next week.